Welcome back, guys, and I'm bringing you the third round of my Steam Showdown match. As you already guessed, I didn't actually get to record it live because I was dead. As I said, I've been really sick this last couple of weeks, and I played this match. Was I think it was Saturday or Sunday, and I was I was almost at the height of my illness at that point. But we're going to be doing a post commentary, and I'll just give you a bit of background before we jump into the match. My opponent for round three was a person called Pact, who is a cool guy. He's actually, I played him in the first Steam Showdown. For those of you who remember that, he was playing an Abzan deck and he obliterated me 2-0. It wasn't a pretty match. I think he acid mossed me. Cause remember them days. I think he triple acid mossed me game one, and then game two was a bit closer, and then he top decked a planar outburst. But this time round, he decided, hang on, Acid Moss isn't in the game anymore. Let's just play Orzhov. So he's playing an Orzhov control deck, which is it's a bit of a weird matchup. It really comes down to how our draws match up against each other for how well it goes. It's another control deck, and I played Bounce Burn Buff last round, and he had Esper control, but this is definitely a worse matchup than versus that, because in Bounce's Esper, none of the blue cards scared my deck at all. To be brutally honest, it wasn't anything too scary. It was just, there's like Jace, Disciple the Ring, and they're not too scary. They're not too scary of cards, but in this deck, basically, blue has been replaced with more removal, which it just means he can, if he can get ahead on the board, and by that I mean he can get, like, if he resolves, like, I don't know, Gideon or a Jace, Gideon or a Liliana or something, or an Ob Nixilis, and he can just like back it up with removal, so I can't attack it, and then he just gets the ultimate for the win. There's not really too much I can do about that, bar Ulamog, which is kind of scary. So I've got to try and stay on the board, but at the same time I've got to watch out for his sweep as he plays two Languish and two Tragic Arrogance. So the draws, it just depends how our draws match up. Like if he's drawn a bunch of like murders and stuff, and I've got a bunch of grapple that pass to keep recurring, I'm going to be ahead. And if he's drawing languishes when I've got 5 toughness creatures, I'm going to be ahead. But it just really just comes down to how our draws match up against each other. And like I said, this matchup, I think he's slightly favoured, and he's definitely favoured because of I was hallucinating basically when I was playing this match. But like I said, Pac's a cool guy. Actually, you should definitely check him out. I'm not sure if I think he uploads his stuff to YouTube, but he definitely twitches. So he's on also control. I'm on my my green white ramp actually. So we'll jump into game one, and I'll try not to spoil results or anything. But it was I quite liked my opening when we eventually get into this game. It wasn't like anything outrageous, but it was pretty good as far as I couldn't ask for too much more, as you can see. I think I keep this as 4-land with grapple the pass. It's pretty slow, and Reclamation Sage doesn't have too many targets, but I actually think at this point I was saying I've got like the three worst cards. Well, I was thinking anyway. I was thinking that I've got the three worst cards in my deck. I can't speak. Damn it. Sorry, I'm still not over this. I meant Reclamation Sage and Planar Outburst aren't too great. I was pretty much banking on Grapple getting me something good, which is but I like my mana. I had 4 lands, pretty good, and then I draw the Explosive Vegetation. So I'm just thinking at this point, right, I'll just ramp up, grapple hopefully into a big creature, and then go somewhere from there. Hoping he doesn't put too much pressure early on the board, and I'm sure you'll notice. This is something I noticed when I play Pact. He's one of these people who he plans his turn out before he actually does anything. So you can see there, like, he doesn't play his lands till second main and stuff, and it's kind of hard to keep track of. But as you'll see here, I draw another ramp spell, perfect timing. So I just get to, with Spell Mastery as well, get to thin my deck out of loads of forests. On 5 mana on turn 4. I'm going to be on 8 mana on turn 5. So I'm looking for a big creature top deck here to just try and get on the field. He's got loads of removal for like Declaration Stones and stuff, but I'm hoping that if I can even just get a big creature in my graveyard, I can start, hoping to draw into like some of my recursion stuff and just keep bringing it back for value. And my hand doesn't look too great here. I think at this point I was thinking I'm just gonna wake in a planar outburst, and I was thinking would it be worth it to eventually do that on turn like 6 or whatever. But I don't know. As you'll see, something something happens with that later on, which is a fantastic. But he does take his time on this turn. I can't remember what he actually does. I think he's deciding whether to read the bones or not. Was I think his grand scheme. I think he eventually does go for it. And the thing that annoyed me about this is that read the bones. The thing with his deck is that his deck is basically all removal or win conditions. He's got no card draw essentially apart from 2 read the bones, and so I was thinking if I can just keep grinding them out, like bring back big threats which he has to spend multiple cards on, and that can just wear down his hand. But then he draws one of his read the bones here, so I mean he's already ahead on cards, which is frustrating. But I mean I'm not gonna complain. It's not exactly like I'm not running less copies than I should be of some cards. But i.e. Vessel of Nascency. But as you see with that, we draw another land. I think our draw steps so far have just been land and ramp spells, so we actually haven't seen any threats yet. But I'm not complaining because like an Ulamog off the top here would I'd be able to absolutely destroy his lands and just give him back pretty far. And this is a crucial turn here. He plays his 4th land and then plays an Eiley, which is an annoying card in the matchup. It's got Death Touch and it gains him life if he ever gets other creatures out. But the Death Touch is a problem because as you see here, I top deck a Sylvan Advocate. And it's a 4/5 creature, it's big, it's got vigilance, but at the end of the day I'm going to have to trade it off here. My only removal is Blessed Alliance and Planar Outburst, and well, Blessed Alliance only works if he's going to attack me, which I highly doubt he's going to do here. And Planar Outburst is going to kill myself an Advocate anyway, so he gets a pretty advantageous trade off here. He gets to just that Eiley basically said 2 mana removal spell, and like I said, there's not really too much my deck can do about it. I was just hoping he'd attack. He decides against it, pretty smart. Then he taps out for a Kalitas. And as you can see here, I'll pause the game for a sec. As you'll see here, he misses his 5th land drop, which is pretty huge. And now this is a turn which I'm not proud of. As you'll see, I've already fucked up. I was planning to awaken my Planar Outburst, just so, because to awaken my Planar Outburst, he'd get a zombie, but he'd lose, I'd be able to attack with my awakened land here. And then I'd be able to hit him for 4, basically, and it wouldn't be a 2, I think it would be about even. But I fucked up there, and I played the wrong land. I played a forest, which means I don't have the triple white for an awakened Planar Outburst. So I'm just sitting here hating my life, and I'm deciding what's the best thing to do. I decide, well, I'm gonna make the trade anyway, just so if he does have a removal spell, I might as well have at least killed his Eiley out of the deal. That was genuinely what I was thinking. I mean, I'm still not sure if this is right, but like I said, I wasn't exactly on top form here, but I was thinking might as well just trade off the creatures in case, because I mean if he's got like I don't know, trying to think of some murder or something, he runs 3 murders, then he'd be left on the Eiley, and I might as well trade off here, because at this point I'm pretty tilted. I was very annoyed with myself when I played out the forest. No reason to. I've got 2 Canopy Vistas in hand, and yeah, it cost me here. So I decide what's the best plan of action. Do I play out the Woodland Bellow or just pass a turn? And I'll decide, you know what, I'm going to plan on wiping the board anyway to deal with this Kalitas, so he can't keep getting zombies to throw at me. So I decide, you know what, I'll just pass the turn here, and then we'll go for the Planar Outburst next turn. But it was frustrating at the time, and yeah, I was cringing pretty hard. As soon as I played the land, I realised I'd fucked up, but fortunately you can't take it back. So I mean, I'm to be brutally honest at this point, I'm almost thinking about game 2. It's not even like I'm not even that far behind. That's the frustrating thing. I was really tilted, and you know, ill didn't help. I was like just not really feeling it. He gets to hit me for 5 here, which he wouldn't have been able to if I'd played the turn out correctly. And I think this is the turn where I can't remember. Like I said, he does take a while thinking about his turns, and that was kind of tilting me. Not because he was like time stolen or anything. It was just because it was giving me more time to think about my mistakes. But as you'll see there, he still can't hit his 5th land drop. I decided to go screw it, Planar Outburst. I'm fully expecting a removal spell here. Absolutely wasn't expecting my land to connect. Especially, I mean, if he's missing land drops, that means his hand is just all removal. So I was just wondering which spell was going to be. Was it going to be Grasp? Was it going to be Blessed Alliance? It was Blessed Alliance. And yeah, so he gets to get another 4 life. And he gets to kill my land, which not really relevant to be brutally honest. I've got enough lands for Ulamog anyway. And well, that's really it, to be honest. I didn't really need that land at that point. It was just to try and bait our removal spell. And this is turn number 3, I think, of him not being able to hit his 5th land drop. But he did top deck the Liliana, which is exactly what I didn't want to happen. He's now got, like, because going back to the start, this is the situation we were talking about, where he's got the Planeswalker out, and I can't pressure it this turn, which means it's going to stick around. And it means he can, what was I going to say? He can just back it up with removal and then just go for Lily Ultimate. And this wasn't a play which I'm still not entirely sure is right or not, but I didn't grab the second Sylvan Advocate out of my deck. I grabbed a Tireless Tracker so I could get a clue. I'm not 100% sure on that play, because it means at this point, if he had Languish, then he can just wipe my field here. Well, if I got a Sylvan Advocate, he couldn't kill both Woodland Bellower plus Sylvan Advocate, and naturally I get punished for it. And I don't know. It's maybe I could have done it, but then I was kind of fearing Tragic Arrogance. It could have been Tragic Arrogance, and then I would have just been I wouldn't have drawn a card, and that card turned out to be Bruna. I would have drawn it anyway, but as you can see, my next couple of draws are pretty kind to me there. I top deck a Bruna into a Green Warden, which means I'm going to be having threats for a lot of turns now. So despite me fucking up, I think, twice now, I'm not sure if you can count that Languish one a fuck up. It's kind of 50-50. I got the 50-50 wrong, but at the same time, he's land screwed, so I probably shouldn't have been playing around Tragic Arrogance. Like a land top deck. But I mean, I'll just put 2 more threats on the field. I'm going to draw another card this turn. To be honest, I'm wondering, and the frustrating thing here is that Reclamation Sage doesn't do much in the matchup. But at the same time, I can't play it out while he's got Liliana on the field, because it's just going to die. So I was not too happy to see the Reclamation Sage in hand. He then pluses on. The thing with Liliana though is that she ultimates so fast. I mean, it's already on 6 loyalty. It's only 7 for the ultimate. So if he can back it up for 2 more turns, and basically none of my creatures have haste, and that was such a kick in the balls. Guilt Leaf Winnower just kills everything in my, pretty much everything in my my deck dies to Guilt Leaf Winnower. So it's just a 5 mana removal spell with a 4/3 menace on the stick. That was so backbreaking. And now I'm thinking I can't pressure that damn. I really can't pressure that damn Liliana. If he has another turn where he can kill my stuff, that thing is going to ultimate. So I just got right, play a clue so I can threaten the trade, see if he wants it. Of course he takes the trade, because he's got his win condition in hand. He finally hits 5th land, by the way, something I didn't point out there. So I'm not salty. He did miss it, I think, 3 or 4 turns in a row. So that allowed him to play the Guilt Leaf. I wonder how this would have turned out actually if he did miss his 5th land drop again. But I mean, that would have been bullshit. I would have been so angry if I was him. But we trade off here. First mistake I think I make is I play another mistake. Mistake number 3 is that I don't get back Planar Outburst here. No idea why not. Planar Outburst is one of my only ways in this deck that I can give haste, and I need to pressure a Planeswalker. And I decided, you know, let's try and play a value game against Liliana's ultimate. So I decided, fuck Planar Outburst, and and this is another fucked up play. This is mistake number 5 now. I play out Deathcap Cultivator, despite not playing out Reclamation Sage for multiple turns, while he's got Liliana in the field. No idea why. So I mean, I just completely fucked up at this point. I didn't even realize this at the time, but it was pretty embarrassing. But this actually has unintended consequences, which is pretty funny here. So this is where the penny drops, and I'm going, fuck, Planar Outburst. Because I mean, if he has removal, it's gonna tap him out. So I'm just sitting here going, okay, I've just thrown this game away. But Pact, me and Pact have played quite a bit in the past, and I think at this point he was thinking, he actually told me after the match, he's like, there's no way Nighthawk is being this retarded. There's absolutely no way he is this bad and he has fucked up this much in the last couple of turns. He has to have the Ulamog in hand. He's trying to uh, bait me into using my exile removal on Green Warden so that he can play his Ulamog, kill my Planeswalker, and I won't have a way to deal with it. So me fucking up so bad is like playing like mind games at such a level that he's like, well, Nighthawk must have the Ulamog. It must be a giant ploy. So he actually minuses on my Green Warden, killing it, which gives me the chance to get my Planar Outburst back. So I'm praying to the gods at this point, thinking Pact is just misplayed, but he's actually, because we talked about this for a while after the match, but he was actually playing around me not being a complete fucking idiot was basically his mistake. And then I absolutely snapped this off here. I would love to kill the Obnixilis, but if he ultimates that Liliana at this point in the game with 25 life, there's going to be no comeback for me. So despite having a Linvala and a Brunner in hand, I can't race. I can't race the Liliana emblem, especially considering he's guaranteed to have more removal in hand, because he still hasn't hit a 6th land drop, and he's got 6 cards in hand. So now he's going to be able to guarantee. I mean, he's not guaranteeing, but he's got a much better chance of hitting the 6th land drop here with the Obnixilis +1. He gets to shrink my land. I mean, I'm playing for. I'm honestly at this point, the only thing that's my out here is a Ulamog off the top. As I can't pressure these Planeswalkers. He's just got so much removal stocked up in his hand. He's drawing an extra card a turn. This is the situation you don't want to be in. So I'm just sitting here going, right, I've got 30 cards in my deck. That's why I get back Tireless Tracker again here. I could have played Linvala for the life gain, but I needed to try and draw as many cards as possible, try and get as close to Ulamog as I can, so I can kill his Planeswalkers, and then we can go back to square one, basically. Hope to top deck a grapple and get my value train going again. So the game's not over. The game isn't over, but I do have an out, and I need to draw it pretty fast. I've got, I think, is it 4 turns to draw to either pressure his Planeswalker or him, because I mean at this point, like I said, he's not going to run out of removal. At no point in this game did I think at this point that my opponent was going to let one of my creatures hit his Planeswalkers. Even then, he's got Obnixilis on 3, so he can kill a Planeswalker. Doesn't even need to, as you see here. So I'm just sitting here going, Ulamog off the top gets me a chance to get back into this game. Anything else is kind of a dead draw at this point. Second Guilt Leaf winner. Oh! That one hurt. That one hurt just as much as the first one did. The same Bruno, I think, as well. And that was so backbreaking. His Guilt Leafs were absolute MVPs in this game. We were talking about this. I was saying you almost sideboarded them and they were that good in this matchup. And then, like I said, at this point I'm just playing out creatures. I've got no what's it called? I've got no outs now. Like any semblance of the fact that I've got an out, other than Ulamog, is completely out of this game. And I'm getting close. I mean, it's not even Ulamog who I need. I can grapple in the past and then play Ulamog in the same turn. That gets me 3 cards deeper. Vessel gets me 4 cards deeper. I've only seen 1 Grasp so far, so there's still three Grasp in the past and 2 Vessel and Acencies that can dig me quite deep into my deck. So an Ulamog top deck, or a way to get to an Ulamog here, isn't exactly like alien. And that's what I'm playing for. We will see if we get it or not. That's the ultimate thing. And he decides to cash in his Obnixilis. He knows what's it called? Liliana is going to be his win condition here. There's no point plus an Ob as well. A second planar outburst, even at this point, isn't even that good because he's got all his mana open. So it means he's definitely got a removal spell for it at the same time, even through the haste. So yeah, at this point I was just praying to the gods that Ulamog would be on the top of my deck. And the answer to the question was, as he is debating what to do here. And I'm just thinking, okay, so I mean, we've seen 3 win conditions from him, I think. Or 2, I can't remember exactly. He does run quite a few, so I was thinking, okay, so hopefully he taps himself out here, and then a planar outburst off the top would be another out to an Ulamog. Instead he just passes back. I draw an Gnarlwood Dryad, which is the 1 mana 3/3, which is good. But when you're facing 2 Planeswalkers, one of which shrinks your creatures, it's another dead draw. So at this point I'm just... I said to myself, okay, this is the turn. I've got one more turn left to top deck Ulamog in any sort of way. He makes a vest. He's making sure he can't get blown out here by something he's not prepared about. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly why he bothered making the Westvale Abbey token. I guess I don't know. Maybe no. I can't really think why you'd make the Westvale Abbey token there. Nothing in my deck. I guess it's better than you can like chump Ulamog for a turn. I guess, but Ulamog doesn't really win through damage. I don't know. I guess it's better than not doing nothing. It's not exactly like he's low on life. There's Planeswalker number 3, Gideon, and I'm thinking at this point, okay, so even if I do top deck Ulamog this next turn, which 2 Planeswalkers do I target? I go, right, well, I have to target Liliana. I'm debating the other 2, and I think I was going to say, okay, I'll target Gideon if I top deck Ulamog. Here comes the turn. It's a Vessel from the Vessel in Nascency. This gets me 4 deeper. There's 27 cards in my deck. That means a 4 in 27 chance to stay in the game. Naito, can he do it? Can he do it? And he looks at the cards, he takes his while looking at them, so I'm thinking, okay, he's seen the Ulamog. And no, 2 lands. And yeah, so I tactically retreat from this game, I think, at this point. Play out my Reclamation Sage just to let him know I had it. And then I jettison out here. There's nothing in my deck that can win from that point. And it would take like 10 minutes just for him to slowly and painfully put me out of my misery there. So I think at this point I sent him a message saying, yeah, I'm done at this point. And then I told him, I think I even told him at this point that I'd been misplaying horribly, and he said me too. And then we talked about it a bit, but I think I let him invite me to game 3. I think I just generally let my opponents do the inviting, unless because some people have superstitions for some reason about if you do the inviting it lets you be on the play, which I've never ever bought into that theory. But I mean, I was on the play that game, I think, and Pact invited me, and then game 2 here. I'll try and skip ahead, actually. No one wants to watch me just sit in the lobby chat to Pact. Okay, so yeah, he invites me again, and then we jump into game 2 here. And at this point, I'm thinking, like, the matchup's not unwinnable for me. Like, that's the frustrating thing here. So I was thinking, well, just go into that again. Hopefully we don't fuck up again, and we can see how this plays out. Because I generally think I had the tools in that game to take it if I'd played correctly. But as you'll see here, the game punishes me. This is a mulligan. That's a mulligan. It was a close one. I was nearly very... Actually, I'll pause here. So you can see the hand. It's 1 land, but I've got a Gnarlwood Dryad plus Deathcap Cultivator, Sylvan Advocate, and land ramp. So if I can hit my 1 land drop, and then I can get off in this Pilgrimage, I'm golden. But the problem with this deck is I came to this conclusion before I played Pact. I said a 2-lander with a Deathcap Cultivator isn't a keep, just because he's got so much removal for it that it's just not going to live, even on the play. So that was kind of my decision here. If I'd been playing like a random, I might have kept this hand online just because all I need is 1 land to get going. But fortunately I have to ship this back. No lander. There we go, 3 lander. So I mean, at this point I'm thinking, well, this was fun. There's nothing you can do. I mean, variance is variance. I think I messaged him saying multi 5 here out of Assault. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll do run 23 lands. I could maybe bump it up to 24, but I don't know. It's just this deck can flood out quite easily. You just need, like, with so much ramp spells and stuff, I feel I can get away with 23. I know I haven't proved it with these videos, as I've had to mulligan to 5 twice so far in this tournament. But, like, I don't know. I just think it's variance more than anything else. Like, I had a 0 lander and 3 1 land and 2 1 landers. It's just not 23 lands shouldn't have that. Shouldn't, like, generally. That was just bad luck, if you know what I mean. I do have a grapple with the past here and Ishkana, so if I can get Delirium on, maybe I can get into this game. But as you can see, I don't hit another land there, and I choose Tireless Tracker because I need to draw cards to guarantee land drops here, and I've got a Mirror Shepherd, so ditching a Woodland Bellow in the graveyard not the worst idea in the world if I can ever get to that length of mana. And I make the decision not to play out Tireless Tracker because, like I said, he's just going to have the removal for it. I need to get guaranteed clue. And thankfully the game complies there, and I do draw land. So it means I've got hope. Like, I can draw a card next turn at worst. And as you'll see, Pact did in fact have the removal, so I'm glad I didn't play out that Tireless Tracker on turn 3. And I've got a creature instant in my graveyard, so I've only got 2 card types, so Ishkana's not really doing too much. But I do have a planar outburst for a sorcery, and hopefully we can draw, I don't know, another grapple or something to get a land in there or something. This deck's not too reliable at getting the turn, what's it called, 5 Ishkana guaranteed. But I mean, it's not really, it can get there. You just need like a ramp spell, a grapple, and you're generally golden. But my opponent goes turn 4 Gideon. I'm just thinking at this point, okay, yeah, we are not destined to win this game. I do pick up an excellent top deck though. This is Pilgrimage for the sorcery, and this means I'm gonna have 3 card types in there, and I do have Spell Mastery, so that's guaranteed my land drops the next couple turns. I even get to sacrifice a clue here, so good use of my mana. But the problem is, with a mulligan of 5, even if this mulligan of 5 works out, I need my opponent to have not drawn well. And turn 4 Gideon does not imply they have not drawn well. And you'll see this next play implies they have drawn very well, let's put it that way. But I mean, at this point I'm thinking, right, if he gets greedy, well, not really greedy, but if he just keeps zeroing his Gideon, I can go for a planar outburst ultimate, and that would be able to wipe his field and kill his Gideon. But I mean, obviously there's no reason for him not to attack with Gideon, but that was just like a vain hope. He's got me on a 3-turn clock, and he plays the land, and there's Gisela. So this is pretty grim. As you'll see, I draw a grapple with the past, which is actually an amazing draw, because like I said, we don't have Delirium yet. 7 mana is not a good time to play out a Mirror Shepherd because you can't play a land drop straight away. So I went, right, grapple, hope to hit a land, so I can ditch it in the graveyard. As you'll see, we do. So I'll make sure not to pick up the land. Pick up Tireless Tracker instead, I think. No, maybe I should have kept. Pick up Woodland Bellower because I'm fully expecting my Ishkana to die here, even with Delirium. So I was probably going to be a good target for Mirror Shepherd either way, but maybe in hindsight I should have brought back Tireless Tracker instead of Bellower. So just in case his removal was Exile, then we could have chained some Bellowers with the Mirror Shepherd, because next turn I'm going to be able to play in a Mirror Shepherd plus Plains to bring back something from my graveyard. So it's not looking too grim at this point, it really isn't. He might have a Gisela and a Gideon on the field, but I do have a Deliriumed Ishkana, which in theory matches it pretty well. If his hand is dead, or if he doesn't have the removal spells for it, then we should be good. And so I'm not too at this point I'm thinking for a mulligan of 5 this hand couldn't have worked out much better. So I'm vaguely hopeful here. He seems to be thinking a lot, which got me hopeful that he didn't get, if he had like an obvious play. But then in comes Tragic Arrogance. So we all know what's going to happen here. I'm going to be left with a 1/2 Spider. He's going to be left with 9 power attacking me this turn because he's going to plus his Gideon. And I respectfully chump here, I think. But like I said, I mean, this looks really grim, but my deck can bring him back from the brink here. We go down to 9 here, which is lethal on board if he has removal from my entire field. But I mean, this is a really, really powerful turn for me. I got Gisela, but she's not really going to do too much. If I draw a Bruna, I might be able to get Brazella out there, and that would be relatively hard for him to deal with. He's already used 1 Tragic Arrogance, so he'd need like an Obnixilis or something like that to deal with it. So I mean, I just put 7, 8, 9, 10 power on the board along with like 15 toughness. So it's things that there's been worse turns on 8 mana, and again I'm just hoping he doesn't have another answer for my field here. and I can pressure his Gideon. I can lots of things could go right if he just ends up going passing the turn back to me here, and I was hopeful. I was hoping I could. I mean, it's just it's all you can hope for. I mean, there's no point sitting there at this stage when you're just waiting for your opponent to make a play, thinking the worst gonna happen. You might as well play as if they've got nothing. If that's the only chance you have of winning. So he's thinking a lot, and just wait for him to make his play here. Just build the tension up. He attacks. Now this was probably the mistake on my half. I decide I'm going to try and eat the Gisela, and I offer multiple spiders, but he just, as you'll see here, he just goes for the he signs all the damage to my Ishkana, which means only one thing and only one thing only. That means a Languish is coming. So, I mean, if I don't block there, or if I just jump with the spider, I guess I get to keep my my 3/5 Ishkana. But to be brutally honest, 3/5 Ishkana is not exactly going to carry the game here. I mean, yeah, it would be a decent blocker, I guess, but it can't block Gideon, and he just gets to jump it with knights all day. So I decided to go screw it, put as much power on the field as back as possible. He's already used one Languish, which means what's it called? I mean, he's already used one Tragic Arrogance and one Languish, which means he's probably running a bit slow on sweepers. So hopefully, Sylvan Advocate plus Wooden and Belway here can outmuscle him. So I mean, I'm not having bad turns with my mana. Like I said, I mean, I'm putting like 10 power on the board every turn. It's just, the problem is that he's been able to deal with it. And then in comes a murder on my Wooden Bellower. And like I said, this goes back to all what I said at the start. If he gets in a position where he's got a Planeswalker and he can protect it with removal, I need an Ulamog top deck. And at this point, I don't even have enough mana for Ulamog. So, he even gets a second murder me here, which was just backbreaking. That was kind of... He's down to 2 cards in hand, but we needed, I think, one more big turn here, like the Amira Shepherd into Ishkana's play, like from earlier, or the Woodland Bellow play. We needed one more, I think, to have been able to punch through. Instead, we draw land, and I'm thinking in my hand, Planar Outburst doesn't kill his Gideon and get killed on the crackback. So I just play out Gisela. I'm on 2 lives, so any creature is lethal at this point. So I'm hoping to draw into a 1-drop or a 2-drop creature, but if he has removal for Gisela, it's just over. Because I don't have the life gain. I see Ulamog, no lands, but the reason I didn't take the Sylvan Advocate there is because if he has removal, he needs 1 removal spell either way, despite me having 2 creatures, because Gisela is the life gainer, and if he has the removal spell, he kills Gisela, he can get to +1 here, and then what's it called, kill me no matter what. Instead, he has the Guild Leaf Winnower, which, like I said, MVP of the matchup by far. It just crushed me every single time it came down. And I'm typing GG here, and I think I'm calling him a faggot. No, I wasn't calling him a faggot. But yeah, we get crunched here. I decided to state this one out because it's only a turn. So we lose dramatically 2-0. I can sense everyone's disappointment, but and like I said, I mean, I'm not going to get too upset about it. I'll pause the game here because there's no point. I was not particularly on form, and by that I mean I was generally quite ill, which I mean is not really an excuse. I did misplay quite badly, but I didn't expect to go into this winning this under the circumstances, and Pact's a good player, so I knew it was going to be tough no matter what. But I don't know, I felt game 1 I had the tools if things had worked out slightly better, and I played on form, but fortunately I didn't. Then game 2 was a mulligan to 5. It was always going to be tough to get back into that, especially after 2 sweepers, Gisela and Gideon. It was always going to be rough. But all is not lost. We are still, I think, technically live for top 8. We need to win the next 2 matches. And luckily for us, my previous opponents are actually kind of going ham. TMP from first round is actually, I think, 3-0 at this point. I'm the only guy to have taken a game off him, which means my opponent match wins is going to be great. Bounce has even managed to pick up a win, which is good for us. So I think if I win my next 2 games, my previous opponents don't fuck up too badly, I actually have contention for top 8, which is hopeful. And our next round opponent is Series, who is playing some sort of Sultai mid-rangey deck, I think. So that'll be an interesting matchup. Hopefully we can not fuck up as badly. So again, sorry about the lack of uploads and stuff, but here's my tournament match. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later.